Welcome to Charting Crypto. Doing a little early, one day early this week because tomorrow, of course, is a big day where we have the live question and answer call-in session for all of the Patreon members. So I'm doing this on Tuesday, the 1st of March instead of Wednesday, the 2nd. It's going to save me a little bit of time. Those days are always crazy when I got all that stuff to do. But I love the live question and answer session, and I love doing this charting crypto every week. Now, guys, I am using the chart that I set up here most recently using the STC indicator, which is a stochastics and MACD. It is the coolest indicator. You can find it at TradingView, which is the software or the charting platform that I am using because our good friends over at TC2000 don't have any of the cryptocurrencies. So I've been forced to go outside that. And the nice thing is TradingView has all of it. And of course, you can see I've got lots of them listed. Now, let me show you what I've done lately. And again, this is not advice. This is all about teaching and learning. Don't recommend that any of you go out there and spend any money. We don't give trading advice. We're an education firm. But I'm going to show you what I have done lately. I've been using this 195-minute chart, which is what you see before you. And I jumped in this last week when an opportunity presented itself on this going from red to green on the 195-minute chart. Now, I will tell you, this is XBTF. This is the Van Eck. You can see it right there. Bitcoin Strategy ETF. It is that the futures ETF for Bitcoin. Now, it's an ETF. It's not like Grayscale Bitcoin that is a trust. This is the new ETF. It only goes back to October or so. And what I did is I used the Bitcoin, and again, this is the TradingView Bitcoin. They take this from Bitstamp, I guess, is where the exchange where they're getting these numbers, and this is reported 24 hours. But what I saw is we were above the 200 EMA, again, which is showing me, hey, we've got a huge wave that we're moving along with as price passed through here. So again, when we go to XBTF, remember, it is what? It is actually Bitcoin on a market basis, not a 24-hour basis. So I jumped in when we had it go from red to green at the bottom, and I'm following the rules that I have set up for myself. I jumped in, and again, what's so cool that I really love about this charting platform is that I was able to put in this really great, it allows me to put in stops, targets, all sorts of stuff. Well, if I go to, you can see here what I set up for myself. It shows you the size of the account. Mine was larger than that. It showed you what I put in the entry point. I then put in, based upon, I've taught you guys last week about using the ATR, and again, average true range. So I set the ATR based upon, and we have it set up here on the lines. You can look over here and see how we have, that's the 14-period ATR. It's at 1.5 of the average true range, both above and below. So since I was going long, I set it at below at the average true range. It was 6.71% at my stop, and I set it at 13.41 for a hopeful gain. I then went ahead and plugged in to sell half my position at halfway up at whatever half of 13.41 would be, 7 point something, not quite 7. So what I ended up doing is I set that and I put in a good till canceled sell order to sell out half my position, and then let the rest of it ride up to, and this is set basically at 2 times the average true, or I'm sorry, well, it's 1.5 times is where we set the average true range. So this is double that. You can see the stop was set $2.70 below where we jumped in, and you can see that $5.40, which is twice. So set my loss parameter at 6.71% at the bottom of the average true range, and then twice that. I set it up at 13.41, sold half the position, which I already hit earlier today. Sold that out in the morning, and I'm letting the rest of it ride to see if I can capture all 13.41%. So I've already banked some of that, and I'm waiting to see how the rest of this goes. So again, I'm having a great time. I did not jump into any kind of Bitcoin trades until we got something like XBTF, which is, of course, the VanEck. As I said, it's the futures ETF. Now, Grayscale Bitcoin's been out there for a while. Grayscale Ethereum's been out there for a while. Those are trusts that own Bitcoin and Ethereum respectively. Those are things that, again, you can practice trade those also. And again, if you get into fractionally trading, I mean, look at this. You can buy a little position for $43. You can buy one share, see how that goes for you once you feel like you've graduated from doing just the paper trading. Now, let's go from this, and again, we can look at where Bitcoin is. Now, this is the 195-minute chart on the 24-hour Bitcoin. Remember, these numbers are reported on these exchanges 24 hours. So if you're jumping into Bitcoin with a practice trade on the exchange, you could have taken this trade because you can see the price did clear up through the 200 during that period, so you could have jumped in. Again, we want to take short positions when we're below, want to take long positions when we're above. So we had that happen. And of course, your entry point, well, you can see how this blew through here. It is, again, it accelerated up, started slowing, accelerated a little more, lost a little over that prior one half day, 195 minutes, and then is slowing down as we proceed through the day on Tuesday. So we'll continue to keep our eye on things. It is different. Again, it is different than XBTF because it reports throughout the day only, not 24 hours a day. So that is where we are as far as Bitcoin goes. Now check out what Ethereum has done. Now when you look at Ethereum, it too pushed through right there as it was crossing over. It was pushing through the 200 period moving average line, and you can see the close there was around 2804.67. It's right up here. Now when I move that, it changes, but you can see when it crossed over, it was at 2804.67, and of course it's reached a high of 2965.46. So that's been nice. If you look at where the rest of these various coins are, they're sort of varying across the board. The big ones have been moving in the right directions. I've not done any practice trading on any of these others. You can see that Cardano is below the 200 period moving average, so you wouldn't be looking to practice trade that. We can see that indeed Solana has now moved above it, but that move crossing over occurred before that happened. You look at things like XRP, it actually crossed over, moving above. And again, you can see how so many of these are right here at that 200 period moving average line. So that is a good sign for things moving ahead. Now, those of you who are interested in longer term plays, we can look at the 2-day chart. And again, as we look at that, you can get a feel for, let me scrunch this up a little bit better for you. There we go. You can get a feel for how accurate, again, this has been over the short term. So it has given, some opportunities. That is the 2-day. We can look at the weekly on Bitcoin, and let me bring this in a little more so you can see. And again, we would only have been looking to get into an up move, and that of course occurred back on August of 2021. Looks very similar to the chart that we talk to you guys about every day when we go back and look at when that weekly vertical crossover occurred. We had the 3 weeks of down movement and then more up movement. So again, these charts don't differ substantially from what you're seeing that we track. So again, I would encourage you to start practice trading these things. If you're interested in what's going on in the markets when it comes to these various cryptocurrencies, you're going to need to start following. If you're interested in Litecoin, then start paying attention to Litecoin. Start paying attention to Uniswap. Start paying attention to Link. Start paying attention to Matic, Dogecoin, which again, I don't think so. Polkadot, which again, from what you hear, has some promise. Now, again, you can look at where things are. This is on the weekly chart. If we go to the 195-minute chart, you can see where it has been playing around that 200 period moving average line for a while. This latest move just barely, penetrated during that time period and moved on up and sort of flattened out sideways. So again, if you want to practice trade these, then if you want to trade these for real at some point, you're going to need to practice trade them so you get a feel for whether or not, and this is the beautiful thing about practice trading and then fractionally trading. You can see it's $18 a coin. So if you bought a coin or two, and then saw how well you could do with it. Is it trackable? I will tell you that so much of the time, you're not going to know until you do it. I tell people all the time, if you're putting off practice trading, if you're putting off fractional trading, once you get good at the practice trading, and you're not in the markets as often as you reasonably can be, you're not going to learn the nuances of all this. There's nothing like doing the practice of entering the trade, setting up your good till canceled sell orders, both extended hours and making sure that it's a good till canceled limit order, and then setting your profit and loss bands like you saw that I do, using your average true range to help you figure out how this is swinging, how volatile it is, what kind of risks do you have to take? Is it a 1% risk that is within the range, or is it a lot more than you're willing to take? Unless you practice this, my friends, you're not going to really know what you're doing, and you're not going to be any good at it. But again, it's all here. You can do it for free. Doesn't cost you anything, and it's loads of fun, particularly as you get good at it. That's where we are, my friends. God bless. All the best from the whole team here at Charting Wealth World Headquarters. We appreciate you being with us. Take care.